What if I told you that you're not lazy, you're just uninspired? Okay? Lazy people don't feel guilty about not doing anything. And if you yourself are moving through the world with a certain level of guilt, or you feel lazy or unfulfilled in life, I want you to unpack what laziness is. What have you been told laziness is? Okay? There's a challenge. I think I had a couple of my clients do at one point where I was like, I just want you to do nothing. Because I typically work with a lot of high achievers. And I love that, right? Because I myself, low key, I'm a high achiever, right? I do a lot. You know, people ask, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, a lot. And that's a genuine statement. It's like a lot, right? But I've also learned to make sure that what I'm doing makes sense. Okay. I'm not a busy person, but I get a lot done, right? I don't care to be busy because it doesn't mean anything. Okay. But there have been times I caught myself where it's like, bro, what would it look like for you to just sit down and do nothing, play a video game? Even lately, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even been able to play that for weeks. I've told myself, like, hey, we're just gonna chill on the weekend, play a video game, and that's it. Ask me if I've done it. Ask me if I've done that. Okay? And you might say, well, why not, Isaiah? It's so simple. Because then I'm thinking about, well, I have to step back into this game, right? I'm already intellectualizing the whole process, right? I haven't played this game in so long. I got to set it up, right? I got other things I got to do. Did I get my client work done? Did I do this? And it's like, I got to think about it. And then what happens when I'm actually in the game? Am I able to be invested? Right? And a lot of times, as soon as I start playing, it's like I'm in it, I'm immersed, and it's fun. But it's getting to that, right? Sometimes we are so afraid of doing nothing because we feel like we'll be nothing. We feel like we'll miss the boat. We feel like people are going to see us in a certain way. And a lot of times, you'd be surprised. No one is thinking of you as much as you think that they are. You know? And the concept of laziness is an outward, perception. If I'm not always in motion, then what is somebody else going to think of me? Or what am I not getting done? Right? And if you're an overachiever, your capacity to work at a certain level is higher than most. So your baseline might be somebody else's cap out. And this isn't like a comparison thing of you're better or whatever. No, because sometimes if you are overachiever or higher achiever or high functioning, you burn out, okay? But I want you to remember this. Rest is not a reward. It's a requirement to continue to show up properly, okay? And sometimes the reason why you are so burned out is because in that moment or as a whole, you're not doing things that are fulfilling, right? You're exerting all your energy to try to exist and survive, but none of it amounts to anything. It's like, let me just get through the day versus let me enjoy my actual day. Very different, right? Very different energy, very different rhythm. And when you can understand that, you could at least pivot and say, well, what am I doing versus what do I want to do? Okay? And sometimes your desire to do certain things may not be there. I remember when I first started out doing, social media, and there was resistance there. I was like, man, why am I so resistant to this right now? At first, it was like, well, I'm gonna be putting myself out there, right? That was a big part of it. And then it was this thing of, well, what if I run out of ideas? I was like, Isaiah, let's be serious. You're always thinking, dude, I think you're gonna be fine. And my work is life, so life is not boring. My internal world there's always something going on upstairs. Okay. But also it became this thing where I realized it's like, maybe I don't want to do it right now. That's a possibility. Let's lean into that. What if I just don't want to do it right now? It's like, okay, cool. I don't want to do it right now. And it's funny because even when we are finding ourselves frustrated in certain relationships, right? This is like a little side quest, but stick with me. A lot of times, if you find yourself continually frustrated in a relationship, I always say to people, you're probably not tired yet. Okay, you haven't reached your cap out. And like I said in a previous video, you shouldn't always be testing your maximum capacity. You should tap out way before, right? Because you still want to be able to live to see another day. Okay, emotionally too. So a lot of times, you're just not tired yet. All right? You're not tired of yourself yet. You're not tired of the situation. You're not tired yet. So there's no motivation to do anything about it. Right? The same thing with feeling lazy. Sometimes it's not laziness. It's like, oh, I just don't want to do it yet. And then there could be all these other reasons as to why. But it's like, in this moment, I know to be true. I don't want to do it. Okay? And I want you to really think of what laziness is versus what busyness is versus what productivity is. Okay? Sometimes it is important to do nothing. And how I know that? Because it will feel so uncomfortable. To just sit and do absolutely nothing will probably rock your world if you're not used to it. And the perception will be, I'm being lazy, like I'm not doing enough, right? I'm not getting ahead or whatever. Ask yourself, who's your competition? Like, yes, if you have these goals in mind, go at it. But are you going to be happy when you get those goals, or are you still going to beat yourself up? The way I think about it is like this. When it comes to achieving our goals, right? Let's say present Isaiah has demands and expectations to be another version of himself in the future. This is point A. This is point C, right? A, C. B is the one that's responsible for getting us there. How do I treat person B, right? How are they being treated? Do I appreciate the effort that person B is making, right? Do I appreciate the load that they're carrying? How do I take care of person B in the process? And how I genuinely show up in those spaces will determine how I feel when I get to C. See, a lot of times people still feel voided by the time they get to their goal or they reach it because they haven't appreciated the person that they demanded get there. Okay? Nothing that you accomplish will matter if you don't treat the person, you, like they matter on their way there. If you don't think much of the effort that you're making, if you don't take breaks, if you're not resting, if you're not being clear, if you're not being precise, if you're not nurturing, C won't mean a damn thing. And then now you're trying to get to F, right? It's like, well, C wasn't enough, so now I got to get to F. Okay? And B is still carrying everybody to the next space, but you don't appreciate them. Right? Sometimes laziness is actually just a result of labor that's been empty, labor that's been unappreciated, labor that's been misdirected, misguided. And we're not understanding that because of hustle culture. I should always be running. I should always, who's the goal? What's the goal? Who are you trying to appear this way for? Okay? I'll put it to you like this. A lot of the things that I've done over the years, people didn't know about it until I posted it, okay? Or until they saw me on TV, okay? A lot of it was just me doing my thing because I enjoyed it. And yes, the outcome was I want to help people, right? I want that to be a part of my process. But in reality, it's just like, this is what I do. And when I find myself getting burned out or tired, it's like, Zay, what are you not doing enough of while you're doing these things? I challenge you to think about how you think of yourself, okay? When you are not in motion, when you are resting, how do you treat yourself? What do you demand of yourself otherwise? And are those things congruent? And if they're not, how are you willing to change it? One small way. Rest more. And what does rest look like? Redefine what rest is. Again, rest is not a reward system. It's a requirement, okay, for you to get to where you need to go. And rest sometimes looks like leaving yourself the hell alone, not being so critical, but instead being a little bit more curious. That's rest, okay? Being grateful, practicing gratitude, that's rest, because now I'm taking a moment to actually just recognize what's been going on versus beat myself into the ground like, hey, you're not doing enough. We didn't reach enough today. You suck. Sometimes it's not laziness. It's a lack of fulfillment, but also a lack of appreciation. Take care of yourselves. Take your time and take care of each other.